history-making event. The stage is set for something pretty big this afternoon.
Let's have a look at our first Fuso starting grid for 2014. It's a Red Bull Racing Australia lockout. Jamie Whincup, 7 race wins at this venue. His teammate Craig Lowndes has won 5 times here. Never a win for Mark Winterbottom, and James Courtney had a traumatic start in the early days at this venue. 2 top 10 finishes last year. How about Scott McLaughlin? Great job yesterday. And last year's champion Shane Van Gisbergen. And then Todd Kelly back on form. And how about Scotty Pye? Nice job from 8th. Tim Slade very happy in the super cheap entry, position 9. Fabian Coulthard, position 10. Then Chaz Mostert now in the factory car from 11. And so they go. Jason Bright, 13th. He did a much better job in the second qualifying. We'll see how that works out for him later this afternoon.
Garth Tander had some issues throughout qualifying. He starts from 15th. He's got Lee Holdsworth alongside him. James Moffat at 17th. Happy 50th birthday to the enforcer Russell Ingall. Earlier on in the week, he returns for another season. Dale Wood steps up from the Dunlop Series. He's got David Wall alongside him. Swede Robert Dahlgren makes his V8 Supercars debut from position 21. We find Jack Perkins coming back into the sport. Welcome back, Jack. And Nick Percat, his first full-time season for the Coates Hire Racing Team. Out of Walkinshaw car 222, already a Bathurst winner, we know that. But now he's in the main game, big time, full time. So that's the class of 2014, and that's how they'll grid up for race 1, 125 kilometres. Rick Kelly, we've got a heart rate monitor on him, and that will certainly start to pick up as he gets going. It's amazing to hear these guys who have been around for so long and achieved so much still talk about the nerves and the nervous energy that they face and the thoughts that are going through their heads, the doubts that they've got. 147 beats per minute for James, so he's working a little bit harder, maybe trying to get the temperature into the tyres for the start of this race. It's hot already. They've been sitting in the cars for quite a while. And now it's the moment of truth.
Jason Bright just reporting on the radio that he can see some fluid loss coming from car number 6, Chaz Mostert's Pepsi Max Ford Performance Racing entry, so that everybody will have to have a close look at that. Make
sure you join our conversation. Use the hashtag V8SC or the handle at V8 Supercars. Let us know what you want to know at home, and we'll do our best to answer your questions.
And Michael Caruso is reporting in that the engine is overheating. I think they're actually going to park that car.
Guys, I want to take you through the starting process because this is something remarkable for the first race of the year. Right down along the pit wall, you'll see the yellow flags at the moment as the cars make their position on the grid. The officials on the side pull those flags in, so they cascade down until we eventually see a green flag waving at the rear of the field. At that point, the race start will be handed over here to Damien White, who is the V8 Supercars race start official. We've got a couple more cars just to line up at the moment, and the yellow flags will be in. We'll see that green flag. You can see at the rear of the field now, we are waiting for the green flag to start this season. Green flag is up. It is 5 seconds to go. In 5 seconds, Damon will hit the lights. They'll be out in 3 to 5 seconds, and we will be racing. We're away for 2014.
And the battle is back on, especially at the front. The 2 Red Bull Racing Australia teammates looking for the advantage at turn 1, and Lowndes will sneak ahead of his pole-sitting teammate Whincup. Winterbottom in 3rd, James Courtney. Look at Shane Van Gisbergen, the yellow VIP car. Aggressive on the outside line. Up to turn 4. Already push and shove with Chaz Mostert. Smoke coming out of the back of car 6.
That's what I was talking about earlier, that Jason Bright observed that he's into the wall, Mostert, so he's on his own oil and found the wall. So out early and damage to the front. He's managed to grab reverse, but he will need to report to the pit lane.
The rest of the field unleashes onto turn 7 and down towards turn 8. 245 kilometres on approach. That wall is millimetres away.
I'll need to watch the snail trail up there where Mostert was. There was fluid on the road.
Turn 9. The 2 Jack Daniels Nissans. Rick and Todd Kelly getting side by side. So Lowndes holds on to position 1 after starting from 2nd. And it's Whincup, Van Gisbergen. He's made up a bunch of spots. 3. He started 6th. He's now ahead of Mark Winterbottom in 3rd.
Great job, Shane Van Gisbergen, because Winterbottom got a very good start. He was the quickest to leap away. He was even quicker than the boys on the front row. But Shane's grabbed him early on. Now, coming up into this area, they've got to watch that oil. Up at turns 4 and 5, Mostard's car was leaving a trail of oil behind it.
Look at the bumps. They've been a feature of this circuit. Drivers will tell you every year they're getting bigger and bigger. So this is the danger zone. Flags are out. Whincup is the first, correction, Lowndes is the first to arrive there, but they all go through cleanly for now.
Fair amount of damage on car number 21 there as well, and into the garage for car number 6 for Chaz Mostert, Pepsi Max Ford Performance Racing, and damage also to the sister car, David Reynolds, Botlow Racing, front right-hand corner crunched on that car, a lot of damage on the front bumper as well.
Remember in 2013 it was Mark Winterbottom who basically made a lap and a bit before having to park, and a big lock-up for Scotty Pye. Down at turn 9, he has to go the alternative route and loses a whole stack of positions and clips the tyre bundle on the way back onto the circuit proper.
So Ben Gisbergen, what a great start from 6th to 3rd. McLaughlin from 8th. Winterbottom and Courtney there, 4th and 5th.
We're looking down on Lee Holdsworth. Look at Russell Ingall on the inside. Holdsworth opened the door and the enforcer went through, and so did Team BOC's Jason Bright. So that's position 14, 15 and 16 as they fan out down the main straightaway. Holdsworth plays defensive against David Wall.
Gee, they were pretty serious coming up into here into Wakefield Street, weren't they, on the opening lap? 4 abreast up there. Scott Pye and Scott McLaughlin drove around the outside of each other for turn 4, 5 and 6. Didn't make contact, so unfortunately Pye was right up there. He was 7th. He's now down in 12th.
In this first sector split for timing, Van Gisbergen's 2/10 quicker than both the Red Bull cars, so he's got good early pace at the moment. Bright up the inside here and looking. This is Russell Ingall on the outside at turn 8. Jason's got the line, Russell yields.
That was good, sensible stuff then from both guys. We know how fast that corner is, and you just can't attack it alongside each other. That's Tander now down the inside of Scott Pye at turn 9.
The 12th position. Made a mistake yesterday, clobbered the wall at turn 8, got away with it to some extent, but it delayed his progress in terms of setting up the car as the boys in it, Pepsi Max Ford Performance Racing, go to work on what the issue is with that oil leak. May not be engine. Sometimes we see around this location particularly it can be power steering related because of the amount of curb hopping that's involved. Watch Winterbottom, great start from row number 2. He got away very, very well. He actually made a little bit of ground on both the Red Bulls.
And so did Scott Pye. You can see Pye and McLaughlin alongside each other there with the blue Volvo and the white Wilson Security Falcon. This is on board now with Whincup. You can see there that the 2 Red Bull cars got very similar starts, but Mark Winterbottom's secondary part of his start was probably the best of the front 4 cars. This is on board now with Whincup. He come out of the throttle, he fanned a little bit and let Craig come across. You see, Craig blocked him still. He knew that he didn't want him to have a dive. That's a locked wheel over the bumps. And this is what I was saying before, all the carnage in the middle of this. This is Chaz spinning pretty much on his own oil. As Neil correctly pointed out, that oil then has come under the rear tyres. He's fired himself in at turn 5.
Gar Tander and Jason Bright were really lucky not to get caught up in Chaz's mishap. So this is David Reynolds.
Incidentally, he's still in pit lane, so that damage on the front right-hand corner of that car pretty substantial. And now Whincup coming in to dispense with his stop in this race, which is compulsory. Little squirt of fuel, only needs a couple of seconds, and it'll be determined by how long it takes to rattle wheels on and off, and he can do 2 or 4 if he chooses, but they'll probably only do 2.
Well, so early in the race, you don't need to do 4, there's no gain. But this is a critical one because I think this undercut might serve him well.
This is Robert Dahlgren in for his first pit stop and gets moving again, the Swede.
I would have brought McLaughlin in for that one. This point now is really critical because as Whincup goes out, it will be as good as he can possibly drive the car to get the benefit on Lowndes. Lowndes will probably come in next lap.
Guys, Dave Reynolds just being checked by the doctor at the moment. We were having a chat with him, but they medically need to check him out. Obviously, that was a pretty hard whack, so that's just underway here at the moment. We'll get in and have a yap to him as soon as he gets done with the doctor. He gets the thumbs up.
So you can see brake ducting, front bar work, and probably some radiator damage on that car as well. So that's what's delayed the Botlow Racing entry down there. So a little bit of an air gap for Craig Lowndes, 1.3 seconds. But Mark Scaife's point here is keep an eye on what happens strategically with Jamie Whincup. He's on brand new tyres and looking for the undercut. That extra little bit of grip that he gets from the tyres may bridge the gap to Lowndes, who didn't come in. They've left him out, and that may make him a little vulnerable to his teammate.
The two men at the front of the field right now are the two men who won the races here last year, Lowndes and Van Gisbergen. They love this street circuit racing. So there's Winterbottom, he's third. James Courtney behind him. Then Scott McLaughlin in the Volvo, making up your top five.
Matty, the doctor has just given Dave Reynolds the thumbs up and all good to go. Dave, I know this is the last spot you want to be in the first race of the year. What happened out there and how bad's the damage?
Oh, mate, yeah, it's one of those things. When you qualify down the back, you're going to get caught up in dramas. And Chaz had a drama, obviously, and he's had a bit of a tangle at turn 5, and I come around there and hit someone. Didn't really hit him that hard, but then the steering arm snapped at turn 11 and just put me in the fence. Wasn't too bad, so hopefully we'll get it out there and get some points, but, you know, we'll try for a bit better run next time.
I look forward to seeing you back out there, Dave. Thanks.
Thanks, man. So that explains it, doesn't it? The steering arm snapped on him on approach. We thought that he might have been given a push straight through.
Yeah. Expect to see Todd Kelly in this lap. There he is, car number 7, Jack Daniels Racing. So they've been encouraging Todd. His first sector's been very strong relative to everybody else. He's in the lane, 40 Ks. They're early on in the lane here and they're ready for him. Great job, Jack Daniels Racing, to get an engine in this car after practice 4. Clean job, 2 tyres, little top-up of fuel. Went on to 7 cylinders in practice 4, and they had a totally different setup in that car to try in that practice session, and of course they got no read from it at all. There's Whincup, who's done the fastest lap of the race. 1 minute 21.7, 0.3 of a second faster than Lowndes. This will be curious to see how this plays out when they meet up further down the road.
And Larko pointed out with his race facts that the further you run, the better it is for your total tyre strategy across the 39 laps. So the further you run in, then you'll change 4 tyres and effectively be able to reduce the tyre deterioration across that period. But again, the undercut with Whincup, it's Lowndes there now, leading the race. Very, very accurate there at that first corner tyre bundle. We've seen so many guys over the weekend make contact with that, haven't we?
You wouldn't want to be any hungrier there, any further to the left, and you grab those tyres. They look soft and forgiving, but they're not. Another bunch of drivers peeling in for this compulsory stop.
It's Courtney McLaughlin, yep. Van Gisbergen is absolutely flying at the moment. He's trying to close that gap to Lowndes, and he's doing so.
McLaughlin made some ground there as he snuck in.
Bad getaway.
That was very messy, wasn't it?
Well, he actually should have got away before the Wilson security car arrived. But they have jumped that car, so they've got out in front of Courtney. So whether there was a little bit of a glitch there in the HRT stop, not sure, because we saw the balk that Scott McLaughlin got. This is, that is close.
That's good position.
Absolutely, that's Todd Kelly has done a great job there.
That's a big gain, and a lot of that was facilitated by the hesitation from McLaughlin back in the lane. That's very hard as a driver when in your ears you've got go, 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 but something must have told him, either his rear view mirror or some other influence, might have been a visual cue. There's the replay from the chopper of Todd just taking opportunistic moment to sneak down the inside, blaze over the top of the curb. He's got 2 strikes against his name, Todd Kelly.
Well, he had to do that.
He had to. He didn't have any choice. But he knew that he had to squeak by. He went in there 5 Ks too quick and then motocrossed it over the top of the hole. And there's the boys at Jack Daniels Racing. They'll be pleased with what they see at the moment. Their man's looking speedy.
That opportunity doesn't exist very many times, so you've got to have the dive. He did a really good job. This car looks very oversteery. Early laps.
car number 360, James Moffat, pit lane drive-through penalty, exceeding the pit lane limit. James Moffat, car 360, you'll see him in the lane.
There's Whincup, so you can see the sort of gap that he's got over Winterbottom, which wasn't that much at the start, so he's got a real gain. Whincup has gained relative to Winterbottom.
They've streamlined their approach in pit lane Ford Performance Racing. That was a very calm entry. He asked, Grant McPherson asked Frosty if he was okay. Frosty had nothing to report, so they just let him get in, get it done, and get out. There was no hurry involved.
There's the drive-through for James Moffat, gets it done.
They figure that out.
That's the voice of Moffat. So he'll have a discussion about that later, and they'll look at data. It's invariably on the entry, rarely on the exit. It's when you arrive over the top of the control line too quick, trying to slow the car down. You touched on something there a moment ago, Matty, that's important. New engineer for Mark Winterbottom this year in Grant McPherson, formerly engineered Will Davison. James Small, last year's engineer for Frosty's, gone to the States working in NASCAR.
Check this out. So it's only half a second roughly is the gap now between 1 and 2 of Lowndes and Van Gisbergen. I mentioned a couple of laps ago that the Giz was flying. He has chopped that lead by over a second in the last 6 or 7 laps. So the young Kiwi flyer, now a single car operation out of Techno Autosports, loves this kind of circuit. We love being back for season 2014. Isn't it great to have the V8 Supercars roaring into life again?
Plane on one more time, fast lane clear, you'll be clear to go. Go, 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 go. Go to the fast lane. Wait for me, mate. Wait for me. Wait for me. Wait for me. Wait for me. Go, 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 go. Clear to go, mate. No one coming. Clear. Okay, mate. Car exiting last corner. Car exiting last corner. Two more cars in the last corner. Jack on that exit last corner now. Will be the DRM Volvo. Green light. Come for the green light. 2 red tyres of fuel. Red tyres of fuel. Nice and easy. That's it. That's it.
Our Mega Wall
Right.
keeping
Okay,
an eye on everything here at the Clipsal 500.
Waiting for me. Waiting for me.
Where Craig
Waiting
Lowndes
for
leads
me.
the way
Go,
over
go,
Shane
mate,
Van
clear to go.
Gisbergen.
No
That
one coming, clear
VIP
to
Pet
go.
Foods bright yellow car has been hounding the Red Bull Racing Australia Commodore since the start. You're on board here in the Volvo S60 of Scott McLaughlin and Gary Rogers Motorsport. He has stopped. He's in 12th. Now moves up to 11th. When the field cleanses, that's a top 5.
And there are 6 guys yet to stop, Matt. But interestingly, Whincup continues to find pace. He's 7th in the queue at the moment. He's the first car in the lineup that's actually done a stop. And his last lap was his best lap, fastest of the entire race for the field, 1 minute 21.6 for Jamie Whincup. So he's continuing to find ways of pinching time out of Craig Lowndes' overall margin. And of course, it'll be dependent on how long it takes to process Lowndes here. But the other interesting thing for me is that Van Gisbergen is gradually clawing in that margin. Remember last year, 2 pole positions for him, and he didn't get off the line well in race 1 because he had to be neutral. So he's completely destroyed as Mostert goes back out. His first race, but he had terrific performance, Van Gisbergen.
Might be able to hear the different sound, the different note of the Polestar engine. I remember when the Mercs first rolled out, when Car of the Future was unveiled this time last year. It was so unique, such a unique sound. Exactly the same first practice session on Friday when this car came out of pit lane and stood out from all the rest. Behind them, Courtney, Tim Slade and Garth Tander. All out of Walkinshaw Racing, all racing against each other.
Yeah, Matty, just a quick update from pit lane. There was a delay with the Lee Holsworth pit stop. They couldn't get the wheel nut off the right front, so that has dropped him down the order. And for Michael Caruso, he's also having a drama with his left front. They had to kick the wheel to get that one on there, so they are going to be significantly further down the order than what they would have liked.
I expect to see Van Gisbergen peel off here, and he's done. He was right on the back of Lowndes. In fact, I really held my breath there a few seconds ago. He's made ground. They're looking for a good stop.
Good entry, good exit.
Jeff Slater, new engineer for him this year. Blake Smith has moved camps. Here he is. He's done a massive amount of kilometres this year, Van Gisbergen. Went to Daytona, drove a Porsche.
All clear.
Good job. Heaps of miles in the McLaren GT3 car at Bathurst. There's his relativity to win Cup. Jamie's made good ground in this stint. Ooh, he had a little bobble getting into turn 1 there.
Here comes Winterbottom, because he's on warm tyres. They put 4 tyres on this car. Remember, the others had 2 tyres. And there's Winterbottom.
Celebrated his 200th race at Sydney Olympic Park the end of last season, Shane Van Gisbergen. He's also done some drifting in the recent past in New Zealand, so I'd venture to say he's done more kilometres of race driving and throwing a car around in the recent past than anybody in the field.
Yeah, and to put a little bit more context to that, you heard Mark Scaife say earlier in the telecast, Whincup only putting 2 tyres on. He didn't need 4, because when you're only 5 laps into the race, your front tyres aren't worn, so there's no benefit. In comes Lowndes. Here we go. And you saw Shane Van Gisbergen. He's far enough into the race, he will get a benefit from 4 tyres. So what you'll see him benefit from is later in the race. Let's watch Lowndes.
They've only got 2 tyres waiting for Craig Lowndes.
No spinning on the wheel. Line is good.
Oh, problem on the right.
That's hurt.
So
there goes Whincup.
Jamie made a heap of ground in that stint on everybody. The mistake for car 888 clearly hurt, but I'm interested in the relativity between 1 and 97, because that run on those tyres where Jamie had clean air, he really motored. Remember that 21.6 that he did a couple of laps ago? That sort of stuff is what's put him in this position. Great performance. Fabian Coulthard is the leader of the race. There's 3 drivers still to be processed. His teammate Jason Bright included in that group, together with Will Davison, and Whincup's the first who has stopped. Back with more.
There's a nice clear run in. Stop at the mark. 2 tyres and a quick fuel. You're watching for Rick and Todd and McLaughlin on the exit here, mate. For Rick and Todd and McLaughlin. Should be ahead of Rick.
Fascinating way to start this season because it's chopping and changing. And Jamie Whincup is your effective race leader with Jason Bright and Will Davison yet to pit. So the cleansed order would look like Whincup, Lowndes, Van Gisbergen. We're just checking to see if they got that right rear off.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, you could see beneath the apron of the car early in that replay we had up, they actually got the wheel off. It was getting the incoming wheel on secure was actually the issue for them. So left rear, no problem. The right rear was the issue. We weren't sure whether he'd been stranded. And that sometimes what they do in terms of managing the drama is just leave it on, send the car, rather than sit there and puddle around. Now, the real pressure here is between Lowndes and Van Gisbergen. Lowndes is doing sector splits that are remarkable. He's just done the fastest lap of the race of 1 minute 21.4. Van Gisbergen shadowing that, and Gizzy's got 4 brand new tyres.
Have a look at that. 4.4, 4.5, 4.7. Unbelievable.
Tim Slade here in 12th position, Super Cheap Auto Racing.
Courtney's working hard, Neil. The body language of the car is a little bit oversteering, which means that it lacks a little bit of rear grip. We saw Winterbottom's car like that early, and you can see there also at the slow speed stuff that James has got some entry to mid-corner understeer. So he missed the apex for the final corner then by almost a car width. So it's easy to run in there a little bit too fast and not get the car turned well enough. This is the spot that is very difficult for the drivers. It certainly will be this evening in the twilight race because that'll be into the west and the visibility will be very difficult as that sun comes down. And this is the slow-mo of turn 1 with Van Gisbergen. Look at the correction. See his glove. Got opposite lock on there, over the curb. Forces that have generated up through the suspension and through the rest of the body of the car is just incredible there.
Jono Webb, it is so weird to find you here in the garage during a race, but now that you're relaxed back as team owner, is it as relaxing as you thought watching Shane Van Gisbergen?
No, not at all. There's, no, the butterflies are going a million miles an hour. I think if I was in the car, it'd be nice, cool, calm, collected, but not so here on the sideline.
Now, Jono, let's get down to business. Can Shane Van Gisbergen catch Craig Lowndes and get past him?
Look, I think he can. I think we've gone for 4 tyres. They've only gone for 2. So I think here in the middle he'll just hold station. But coming towards the end, I think he'll have the speed to push past.
Oh, we look forward to that. It's going to be a great finish. Thanks, Jono.
Thank you.
And we look forward to seeing Jono Webb in action. Oh, Lowndes got that tyre bundle. That could have been disaster. Jono will be back in the Pertec Enduro Cup later on in the year driving with Shane Van Gisbergen.
Lowndes is on the ragged edge at the moment, just trying to hold this margin over Van Gisbergen. He's got a tiny little grip advantage. That diminishes as the laps roll on, but it's enough at the moment for Shane to be able to eke back a millimetre here and there, and for Craig, he's seeing it in the mirror. Check this out, the super slow-mo replay turning into one. You can see the drift in the car and the clobbering of the tyre bundle there, and in fact, it's actually plucked a bit of the inner guard out.
It has. That's all sealed in under the inner guard there for aero effect, and it has torn that piece out from under the left-hand front corner.
So Van Gisbergen will be sitting here watching this going, I know that Lowndes ahead of me is having to push the limits as hard as he can to keep me at bay. It'll be a good boost of confidence for the number 97 car. Will Davison has entered pit lane, so that leaves Jason Bright, the only man out there yet to pit.
Who's going to have a fiddle with incoming tyre pressures at the rear of his car. He's not happy with the behaviour at the back of it at the moment, and that's a little tweak that they can affect cheaply and simply. So that leaves just one car remaining to process in this compulsory stop. On board now, Scott McLaughlin, the run to turn 1. McLaughlin gets a curb strike as we ride with him. He's in behind the rear wing there of Todd Kelly's car, who in turn is behind his brother Rick. Turn 4, end of Wakefield Street. Now into East Terrace. This stuff's all second gear. Apex speeds around about 80 odd kilometres an hour. Short, sharp bursts up to 130 Ks, back down to 80. Pick up the throttle again in second, slide her up over the top of the curb. As much turn-in space as you can get, and then easing that 650 horsepower in second gear.
That's 1 and 2, first strike of 1 and 2.
He gets 3 of those. On the third one, a bad sportsmanship flag, and if he gets a 4th, he gets a free trip through pit lane. Turn 9, 800 degrees brake temperature down there. Huge pressure in your right leg to stop the car. Dancing around this little track, you rarely get an opportunity to relax. There's only around about 15 to 20 in 80 odd seconds of racing around here where the steering wheel is genuinely straight. The rest of the time, your hands and your feet are in a constant dizzy dance.
Craig Lowndes has just responded to that challenge from Van Gisbergen with the fastest lap of the race, a 1:21.42.
It was a 21.43 before. Yeah. He's going, I mean, his consistency is really good.
And make no mistake, there won't be too much of that customary grinning going on inside that helmet. Lowndes will be very angry. Look at Tim Slade on the charge here.
And he's up against his Walkinshaw teammate of James Courtney, and really up against it. And he's got Garth Tander behind him.
Spent lots of time in the summer period right here in South Australia with the family. There's Adrian Burgess, now running operations at Walkinshaw Racing in the HRT bunker. Tim Slade ducks out for some cool air momentarily on the run to turn 8. He was pretty happy with the qualifying run yesterday, but said that he made a little mistake, didn't get the most out of it.
Okay, as Bridie comes out pit lane, I want to show you this new, sorry mate, front-looking infrared camera. This is a $40,000 piece of equipment. Now I'm going to point it at this car, Bridie's car, when he comes in, and we'll have a look at some of the thermal activity that's going on around the back of the car here. Now there's the normal shot. I'm going to flick that over and get in there for you.
Rearward, bias rearward. You might want to soften the bar a little bit. You're going to come out in this little group here.
Just see the incredible heat being generated as Bright rejoins at an awkward spot. James Courtney has to try and keep his line. So just as we went to Larko there, we saw Tim Slade having problems down at turn 9. Bright blocking. Garth Tander going left, right, can't get past. So Slade has dropped back now behind Tander and will go further back. He's having real handling problems with the Super Cheap Auto Commodore.
Well, what happened is he got out of rhythm. This is Pye underneath him at the moment, who himself's had a couple of little issues at turn 6 this weekend, but very comfortable in this car. But it shows what happens when things just go slightly wrong for you. Tim outbraked himself into turn 9, then paid the price of getting beaten up by the pack. He's been shuffled. And remember also that Garth Tander and Jason Bright, a little bit of history there last year. They had some rubbing going on at several events, Tassie in particular, as Dale Wood comes in, car 21, the Advam entry.
And it just shows you, Neil, that when that rhythm is upset, so he was really putting pressure on to pass Courtney. He made a mistake, he ran wide, and now he's lost 4 spots. So just as soon as you get out of that rhythm, Tim Slade now has got to compose himself, get himself organised again, go back and hunt Scott Pye down. Scott Pye's done a good job in this race, and the man of the match so far is Rick Kelly. Rick Kelly up from 14th to 6th. That was Slade. Look at this.
Well, the replay shows just how close he was to actually clobbering the back of James Courtney. That's why I held my breath then. And see that, 2 cars by, or 1.5. But then you've got to, first of all, deal with potentially the damage on the tyre. This is Nick Percat and Michael Caruso in the same spot in strife down here as well. That was awkward. And that's the reason why Dale Wood's in the pit lane.
Well, he was an innocent bystander in that one.
We didn't see that coming, and either did he. So Nick Percat in the garage, and not only that, about Tim Slade out of rhythm. While we were watching that replay, he got busted for curb hopping as well. So it needs to get back on track. Lap 23 out of 39, the first of 2 races today. Don't forget, later on this evening on 7, we'll be racing into the twilight. You're watching the V8 Supercars on 7. Jamie Whincup is our race leader with 15 laps to go in the opening race of the season. We're looking down on the two Holden Racing Team Commodores of James Courtney ahead of Gartander. Whincup leading his teammate Lowndes, who catches the grass down there at turn 13, which feeds you round to 14 and then back onto the front straight. Terrific effort from these two Jack Daniels Nissans. We have Rick Kelly, who's up to 6th. His brother Todd is flipping it around left, right and centre down there at turns 1 and 2. And he's in 7th. Behind them is Scotty McLaughlin. On board here with Lee Holdsworth, the Erebus Mercedes, another different sound. That was through turn 8 down here at 9. So this is where the action took place with that car on the right-hand side, Nick Percat, into car 36, who then had Dale Wood arrive on the scene. So already some carnage out there, as you'd expect. David Reynolds has rejoined the race.
And out of all that manoeuvring, when you saw the late stop from Jason Bright, who incidentally, reminding you, qualified 13th, he's popped out 9th, but he just did the fastest lap of the race. He's got those new tyres on late and a lower fuel load. Rihanna?
Yeah, just quickly with Nick Percat, that was obviously a broken steering arm from that contact with the Norton Hornet, so he's back out there now. And just on Robert Dahlgren, he's had a second pit stop. I asked Gary what that was for, and he said he cooked the first lot of tyres, but he will learn very quickly.
Yeah, very easy to overdo that in the early stages of the race around here, so that will be a good learning exercise for Robert. And the steering arm that Rihanna was just talking about is effectively from the steering rack out to where that connects with the front upright to turn the wheels. There's a little arm that usually is made in a way, or manufactured in a way, that it takes most of the load in that sort of contact. And there's Scotty McLaughlin just giving Todd Kelly a little bump to say, I'm here and I would like to get my Volvo past your Nissan.
He ran him in then, didn't he? He actually tagged him right in the mid-corner. It's down at 1, pretty quick across the curbing down there. In the twilight last night, said to Scott, so what's it really like? He said it is ace to drive. There's a little bit of a drivability problem in the engine. It just isn't as smooth as he would like down low, and he's got to push the throttle a little bit more than he likes just here to try and get the thing through a tiny little flat spot. Other than that, you can't believe how good it is as a new car. And I said, what was the best bit about your day? He said, copping a hug from the Volvo boss. And had a big grin. He was very, very pleased with that performance. And together with Jack Perkins, and I think Tim Slade was involved, spent some time at summer at Perkins Farm, getting up to no good with a paddock basher and just goofing off. Here he is having a look down the inside of Todd Kelly.
Oh, and he gets through. He muscles his way through.
Is it done? No, he gets one for his trouble. Ooh, that spot there always makes me worry. Turn 10, there's really no room for two cars. Todd gave me a little clip under the ear on the way through. And this is Bright. He wants to put a move on here as well. So this is coming into the final corner. Todd's actually having to slow his car up a bit, I'd say, because that's now twice in consecutive laps where we've seen opponents really make a bit of ground on Todd in that spot.
And Jason Bright's been a second a lap faster. That's why he's gained so much. So fresher tyres for Jason, big yield against these guys. And Scott saw Jason coming, so he knew that he had to have a fair lunge, and he did that. It was a very late and deep manoeuvre at turn 9.
Congratulations also to McLaughlin. Finished his trade. He's a sheet metal fabricator officially now. He got his certificate last week, so he's got a real job to fall back to if something goes wrong. But at the moment, doesn't look too bad, does it? He's out there in 7th. There's Brad Jones. Andrew Edwards to his right. This is an engrossing battle.
Well, Todd Kelly spoke about through qualifying how he could see on the big screens around the circuit, he could see where he was, but now he's got mirrors full of competitors pushing him around, and he has to block the inside there of Jason Bright. Yeah, he was keeping track on the big screens of his position because he was right up there. And then at the end just sort of fell away a little bit in qualifying for race 2.
Interesting there, at turn 11, it actually confirms something I discussed with these guys early in the day. Todd said to me he reckons he's weak at the curbing. As Bright has a look in the final corner, that's not going to totally work out just yet. And Todd said he's not happy with the way the car reacts over the top of the curb. It doesn't get out of its own way quick enough, and he's got to wait too long to pick the throttle up. So did you see how much ground that Bright made at 11? So again, the body reacting on the Nissan relative to the Holden there as they went through the complex at turn 1-2.
Bright's going to have to get by because the new tyre advantage is going to subside pretty quickly. You can see the level of grip that Jason had and the gains that he was making under that scenario. Very interesting battle. Whincup leading by 0.9 of a second over Craig Lowndes. Stay with us.
Job, mate. 10 to go. Have a drink. 10 to go. Lost 22.5 last time around.
Inside the last 10 laps of the first race of the season, where Jamie Whincup leads Craig Lowndes and Shane van Gisbergen. This tyre bundle down here at turn 1. Cops are pounding all weekend. And it's just a matter of centimetres, the difference between doing damage and unsettling the car. And just in the ad break, Jason Bright did put a move on Todd Kelly down at turn 9. It wasn't as clean as you'd imagine because Todd's never going to give away a position. But Bright has now pushed further ahead. So Bright into position 8. Kelly goes back to 9. James Courtney rounds out our top 10.
And a message from the newly appointed team manager at Nissan Motorsport, Jack Daniels Racing. Scott Sinclair told me just a few moments ago via text that Todd Kelly's a little bit of steering damage from contact early in the race. That also explains his vulnerability there to Jason Bright. Larko?
I want to catch up with my old buddy Mark Dutton. Sorry, Dutto, firstly, congratulations on your new leadership role, mate, and certainly going to plan so far.
Yeah, so far. That's not to do with me, mate. That's these two boys leading the show.
Yeah, well, you know, it's very much an engineering role. I was a bit worried when Shane Van Gisbergen put on 4 tyres versus your 2. He might have hauled you in on performance, but looking at your splits, looks like you've got him covered.
Yeah, exactly. Lownsy's used his tyres well. He's looked after him early, fought off the charge from Gisbergen, and now he's chasing down J-Dub.
Now, I've been looking for Roland in the garage, mate. I can't see him anywhere, but I reckon hiding down in the back hole there somewhere. And I know if I lift Dutto's earpiece off, believe me, he's still here.
Yeah, so Mark Dutton steps out of engineering Jamie Whincup, the most successful partnership of the last few years, and David Couchy steps into that role. So Mark Dutton now overseeing things as team manager, and Jeremy Moore stays in the hot seat with Craig Lowndes.
I did notice, though, yesterday in our coverage that when Jamie sent out an SOS of concern, I need to tidy up something in the car, he tended to have both Dave Couchy and Mark Dutton in there. So to some extent it's a sidestep, but he's not too far away. He's not letting him get too far afield before he intervenes and gives him some support. And I think you'll find he's able to also influence Lowndes, who, by the way, has got that margin down to 0.6 of a second now, Matty.
I spoke to David Couchy about that, and Couch was actually really happy that Mark Dutton is still there. It's not as though, you know, Dutto was going somewhere else, because communication has been the key. Those guys got themselves to a point, Mark Dutton and Jamie Whincup, but they basically really didn't have to communicate. They just knew what each other was thinking. And so to have that backup there, he's going to lean on that as much as he can until the relationship develops itself. You're also going to start to see more action over the turn 2 curbing at the moment as well. As we get, someone with a problem down there, Dale Wood, 21. As we get late in the race, they'll use up their lives across the top of the curb. So at the moment, Lowndes and Whincup have got a strike each. I'll be curious to see whether those numbers grow when the pressure builds at the back end. Tim Slade has 3 strikes next to his name, so he's been shown the bad sportsmanship flag. If he does it again, he'll be going through pit lane, and we are at the back end of the race. Lowndes made a blue. Remember, I talked about how tiny that gap was. It's just opened back out to 1.9 seconds. Look at this.
So down the inside, McLaughlin on Rick Kelly. Contact.
He'll have to lift out, because if he makes a pass based on a bump and run, then race director and the new investigating officer, Jason Bargwana, will look carefully at that. So Scotty's done the right thing there. He didn't force the issue.
That was Richard Hull. I say, good job, buddy. Rick Kelly, heart rate 187. That would have raised his heart rate with that little bump and slide.
Good job. You came from a long
Gary
way
Rogers stopped doing his ABBA impersonation, and he's got his serious face on. See there, this incredible battle between Rick Kelly and Scott McLaughlin. The bump there before, this is a spot where McLaughlin has been strong through the weekend.
Here's the explanation of what happened to Craig Lowndes in Triple 8 Red Bull Racing entry. That
Big
gap
slide.
was only half a second, and then he makes a little mistake, bobbles, climbs the top of the curb at 6, I think that was, or 5. Yeah, it's at 6 just before they start to line up for that back straight. And that's all it took for him to drop a second there in that little process and taken a bit of the pressure out of that battle. In fact, what I think Lowndes has done now, it's out to 2.2 seconds. He's gone, righto, give it away. That's it, game over. So we focus on this battle here. It's Rick Kelly in 6th, Scott McLaughlin in 7th, Jason Bright next. Good recovery by Team BOC here from not a great qualifying performance. They went into practice 3 as the fast combo, Coulthard and Bright, and they went out qualifying for race 1, and their pace evaporated. So they've had to play a strategy game now in this race to get back in. They've done that, and Bright's qualified better for the second race, and it looks like he's got good car balance here now. So he'll be more of a threat in the twilight race later this afternoon. He's right on the back of McLaughlin.
As I said before, Neil, Rick Kelly from 14th up to 6th. Great job. McLaughlin qualified 8th, so he's gained a small margin there. And as you point about Jason Bright's progress, he qualified 13th up to 8th position. So a good battle over the last couple of laps there. Ingall's done a good job.
As has the guy he's battling at the moment, Will Davison, who qualified 24th, so it was a tough run for him yesterday. He's now up in the midfield. These guys are battling for 13th and 14th. Here they are, little battle pack. A couple of guys with a serious amount of experience. 541 races against Russell Ingall's name. It's an incredible number. And look at these guys. We go back to the battle. You're laughing at that number. It's a big one, isn't it?
It is, but you called it 4 million this morning, so it's a little bit...
Right. I just like getting into it because he doesn't take the bait. He rings me. It's either he or Julia sends me a text or rings me. They get all hot and bothered about that. It's good to have him in the show, though.
That's great that he's back, isn't it? I mean, he made his intentions clear that he didn't want to retire.
Well, he's driving well. He's in the midfield. He's driving well. He's deserved his seat. And he's definitely in there at the moment. He's behind Garth Tander in front of Will Davison, but this little battle continues. Rick Kelly, Scott McLaughlin, Jason Bright, and Todd Kelly just with a little wounding on that car at the moment, the steering arm further afield. He's got a battle going with James Courtney, who I think just got him in the last corner in the background in car 22. Wow, look at McLaughlin. Got the elbows greased up and flying on that one. So tripped over the top of the curb.
Repco, a race winner here in 2007. Jason Bright won a race here back in 2001. Scott McLaughlin, the youngest ever winner of a V8 supercar race, collected his first at Pukekohe last year, and this is up the front. Jamie Whincup, handy lead. That's 3.5 seconds back to his teammate. The next car in the list is this one, Shane van Gisbergen. Back to this battle of 6th, 7th and 8th. In between them is Mark Winterbottom and Fabian Coulthard in 4th and 5th.
It's an animated Todd Kelly on the radio in car 7 as well. He's got some other issue. They've told him to be careful, whatever it is. He's drifted out to 10th now, and Courtney's gone by, as I said, into 9th. Lowndes 3.5 seconds behind Whincup. Van Gisbergen's used up everything to try and do what he can with those 4 tyres, but he clearly didn't have the balance at the back end of the race, despite the strategic move to see whether they could jump Red Bull with some rubber.
80,000 people here roughly today. We had a big crowd yesterday as well. So I reckon we're heading for another record. More than 250,000 people attend this event over the 4 days.
Curb strikes for Rick Kelly and Scott McLaughlin. There's the pass I spoke of for James Courtney on Todd Kelly at the final corner. Garth Tander a curb strike as well. Looking rearward now from Rick Kelly's Nissan Altima.
Rides the curb nicely, doesn't it? At 6, a lot of cars have been upset by that. We saw Craig Lowndes have a drama there before. We saw Scott Pye in practice. Have a listen to this. This is just a fantastic piece of road. Turn 8.
And he picked the throttle up and then got out of it again and then picked it up. Margin closes right down. Eric Pender, Rick's engineer, says you've got 2 curb strikes. Be careful. They're at the back end of the race. They're using up their lives. One more and he gets a bad sportsmanship. You can see the strengths and weaknesses in the cars here at the moment. It's a Nissan, a Volvo and a Holden in 6th, 7th and 8th as this first 125 kilometre sprint comes to a close. A little mistake there for Bright, left rear on the grass. Here's the leader. 5.1 seconds is the gap. He's opened it up. Plenty of fresh air now. Lowndes is nursing the tyres. They've got to manage them carefully because he's never going to mow down his teammate from that position. And there he is. There's Whincup.
Well, the combination of David Cauchi and Jamie Whincup netted a pole position in their first qualifying session. And all things being equal for the rest of this lap, they're going to be 100% strike rate with wins as well. 1 out of 1. But everything went right for them strategy-wise, and a couple of things went wrong for their competitors, including his own teammate in Craig Lowndes. A little bobble too, remember, out of pit lane for Shane van Gisbergen. So they rode all that challenge and just dropped him at the end. And Whincup's doing what Whincup does.
And Rick Kelly and Scott McLaughlin curb hops a piece on that last lap, so they're using him up. Here we go.
Car number 1. This man ended last year as the champion, the 5-time series champion. And it looks as though he's on the way again. The winning ways continue for Jamie Whincup. Craig Lowndes second, and the flying Kiwi Shane Van Gisbergen in third. So 3 Holdens on the top of the list. Mark Winterbottom will cross in fourth. Scott McLaughlin still having a look at a position gain if he can get it from Rick Kelly, but he won't. And he almost got Team BOC a little bit too close for comfort. But a great start for Volvo inside the top 10 in their opening race. Excellent effort from Rick Kelly, the leading Nissan, in 6th. Fabian Coulthard was quiet. He sort of ran his own race with Mark Winterbottom to be in 5th. And an outstanding performance from Scott Pye at Dick Johnson Racing for the first time, and they're inside the top 10.
Race win number 74 in his career for Jamie Whincup. How's that for a number? And his 8th win of the Clipsal 500 event as a race win. So gets 75 points for his trouble. Off to a good clean start. Looks to me to be absolutely not a scratch on the car. That stint that he did from the early stop put him in very good stead. They got the tyres on, they got the benefit of the undercut that Mark Scaife talked about. Clear air really helped his cause, and he's banked first points and first blood for 2014.
The 8th time he's won on this street circuit, and Shane Van Gisbergen will come up alongside and give him a nod, because when he's in this mood, Jamie Whincup and the team's on it, he's in another league.
We just saw those laps ago. He just does it all the time, Matt, does he? Just churns those lap after lap after lap, like qualifying laps out. And that was the difference in that race. He had to do it at that point for strategy, and he did it. It was an excellent job. Will Davison, I've got to also mention him. Very, very good job from 24th to 13th to be the first Mercedes-Benz.
Excellent effort. And Russell Ingall finishes just on the fringe of the top 10 in 12th. So that's David Couchy there, just going up to the driver's side door and celebrating this new partnership that started exactly how they wanted it. In the end, it was a 2.7 second difference over 38 laps against his teammate. That was a good drive too from Shane Van Gisbergen. Just didn't have the pace at the back end. He's very comfortable now as a champion, Jamie Whincup. And when you've won as many races as he has over the last few years in V8 Supercars, you get used to that checkered flag coming your way first. Outstanding effort from Red Bull Racing Australia. They've set the benchmark again. With another twilight race to come this evening on 7. He said that 2014 would be a dogfight. Well, he started the fight with a knockout win. And is this the year that he gets title number 6 and becomes the greatest ever V8 supercar driver?
It was, Matty, indeed. Some performance from Jamie Whincup. Jamie, tempted to say you've picked up exactly where you left off, but that makes it sound too easy. This is a remarkable team, and you guys are doing something really special at the moment again.
Yeah, really, really happy with that. We've done a lot of work over the break. No, nothing major, but heap of different little things, and the car's definitely fast. 1-2 to start the year off is fantastic for Red Bull.
Quite bizarre at this time of the year to be thinking championship already, but you know how important it is to get a bag of points here and then move into the year with that comfort zone.
Yeah, we saw from quali it's going to be close as close, you know, so it's just going to be dog eat dog for every point you can get. I really enjoyed the scrap with Gizzy and Lounsey. I thought I was at the 12-hour, you know, like throwing in the mix. So be good to get out there and mix it with them. But short turnaround to the next one and we go again.
And to have your teammate right there alongside you is fantastic in Lounsey.
Yeah, Lounsey was coming on strong. I didn't know how I was going to go holding him out, but he was going hard, and he'll be a threat in the next one for sure.
Actually, we might grab him just before we do the trophies. We'll grab Craig and have a quick chat. Come on over, Lounsey. Congratulations. Great way to start the year, right behind your teammate. Second spot on the podium. Good work.
Yeah, thanks, Brett. I think it was good. It was nice to have a 1-2 finish for the start of the season. we qualified that way and finished that way. It was good.
Awesome, mate. Did you have a chance to get past him at all? Did you think at any stage you were going to make the jump?
I think we had a few issues in the pit stop, and then we burnt the tyres up trying to get to him. So, look, he did a great job. Kept it out of trouble, which is what you need to do in these short little sprint races.
Hey, good to be back in the seat again.
Oh, definitely. I think it's it's great. Hopefully the fans enjoyed it.
I reckon they did, Lounsey. Come for a walk with us for a minute because we've got some trophies to present. Jamie, come on over, guys. Congratulations. A great way to start the year with a couple of bits of silverware. Jamie, for you, first place trophy. Congratulations. And Craig, for you, the second place trophy. Well done, boys. A great way to kick things off. Lounsey, please come on in and grab that. And, of course, we've got the winning team trophy as well. Who would you like to take the winning team trophy, boys? David Couchy, well earned. First day in the seat and a trophy to take for it. So a great day for Red Bull Racing. Congratulations. Dave, congratulations. Great way to start. That smile has been on your face for the last few minutes. I know Roland Dane gave you the big hug and congratulations, but you couldn't ask for a better start.
No, that was absolutely exactly what we wanted and exactly what we should be doing. That man is a champion driver and he drove the wheels off that thing, so it was all him.
You're probably not a bad engineer.
Go okay.
Good on you, mate. Well done. Enjoy it. Good luck for tomorrow and tonight.
Brett's, he's a ripping little bloke, Couch, and he'll do anything to get on television, as he just has. Hey, but congratulations, Shane Van Gisbergen there. Nice little bit of silverware for third position. Hey, that was tough, mate. And when Jamie came in and only put 2 tyres on lap 5 and you put on 4, way longer, I thought you are going to be in great shape at the end, but wasn't to be.
Yeah, I thought so too. And Craig came out of the pits and got going. And my car went off, but man, those cars are in another league. They were unbelievable. So well done to them. We got a bit of work to do and then start 15th for the next one. So it'd be hard to get another one of these. But another first lap like that, we might be right.
Yeah, so what does it mean, mate? Will you go and tweak your car, or do you think they're just faster and you're going to have to go away from this event and tweak your car?
No, we got some stuff we can tweak, but, they're a fair way ahead. But we just got to come up with a strategy now that'll get us in clear air and try and pass some cars.
Anyway, Shane, great start at the start of the year, mate. Well done.
Thanks a lot. Cheers.
Mark Winterbottom, the first race for 2014, just off the podium. I know you've got limited time, you've got a new engineer. How was that race with Grant on board for this year?
It's good to get points, obviously. You just got to do what you can with what you got out there, but we just got to tidy it up a bit. It's, it is a bit of a handful, but it's good to finish. You finish 4th and you've got complaints, so it's not too bad. But we'll try and tidy it up, and here we go again. It's only an hour away to work out whether or not you fixed it.
The relationship with the engineer is so vital in this championship. Brand new engineer, not brand new to the team, but brand new for yourself after that first race.
Yeah, it's just you've got smart guys, but it's just the chatting on the radio, and they're different people. Everyone's different, so. I don't talk, and then Shippy was a bit quiet there for a while too, so we're just understanding each other, and it's a bit different to last year where he had to change what driver wants. So we're going all right. We're getting along. We're all happy, and we finished 4th, so not too bad.
I'll let you get back to it. Thank you.
Cheers.
So Mark Winterbottom inside the top 5. This new engineer, Grant McPherson, so they're kind of happy there. 1, 2 and 3 goes to Whincup Lowndes and Van Gisbergen. Fabian Coulthard made up 5 spots. Rick Kelly drove the wheels off that Nissan to come up 8 spots and finish in 6th position. And Scott Pye inside the top 10 for Wilson Security, Dick Johnson Racing. The mid-pack, well, Russell Ingall and Will Davison, the big movers here. Russell made 6 spots, and Will, as Mark Scaife mentioned, made up 11 spots to be the leading Erebus Mercedes-Benz. And then down the back of the field, 21st in his debut for the Swede, Robert Dahlgren at Volvo. Chaz Mostert and David Reynolds didn't make it to the finish after early contact with the wall. Barrett's.
Matty, big debriefs going on in the Holden Racing Team bunker at the moment, and you can see the fatigue and the effect of this race. Garth Tander in the ice suit, getting the fluid straight back in. And James Courtney, if we just interrupt your debrief at the moment, top 9 finish, good spot to be, hard work out there, and obviously by the meetings going on, a bit of improvement expected tonight.
Yeah, we're definitely starting 4th and ending 9th. It's not a happy day. We had a drama, I'm not sure, with the left rear in the stop and lost 6 seconds. So, to come in behind Frosty and then come out, I think 10th or something, we've got to shine that up. But yeah, the car wasn't the best either. So we're searching a little bit with the bars throughout the race to try and find some grip. But yeah, the track's changed quite a bit, and it's going to change even more now. The temperature is going to drop a lot in the ambient track temperature both. So the cars are going to react and want different stuff in the last race as well. So scratching our heads at the minute.
JC, physically, this is always a tough race for you guys.
Yeah, and also the off season is a little bit longer for me. Put on a little bit extra Christmas cheer, so I had to work a bit harder to get it off. But you know, it's always the toughest race of the year here. The first one at Clipsal, you know, the temperatures, street circuit, 28 other crazy fellas trying to run into you in between two concrete walls. So it's a hot, hard race, and we've got another one in under an hour now, so I better try and cool off.
Yeah, getting set. But we know you're one of the fittest blokes in pit lane, so to see you working hard, we know just how tough it is out there. We might just try and grab a quick word with your team boss, Adrian Burgess, who's actually just ducked around the corner. He will come back in a sec, but Garth Tander, as you can see, just getting fluids back in and the ice vest on. We'll try and get back to Adrian Burgess shortly, guys.
All right, Brett, thank you. Yeah, just remember the cabin temperature gets up to about 60 degrees throughout these races, so they're trying to cool down and prepare for another one. Let's take you all the way back to the start of this race where Whincup and Lowndes were on the front row of the grid, but the opening lap, disaster for Chaz Mostert, straight into the wall. Look at him down here at turn 8, 245 kilometres. Big lock-up for the Wilson security entry of Scotty Pye. Scott McLaughlin comes into pit lane, and when he comes back out again, almost gets tangled up with one of the Jack Daniels Nissans. As Craig Lowndes and then Fabian Coulthard, pretty much everybody got caught up with the tyre bundle at turn 1. A stop here for Lowndes, and it didn't go right on the right-hand side. They got the right rear off, but they couldn't get the new one back on properly, and that cost him dearly. At the same time, Jamie Whincup was doing qualifying-style laps. That's why Whincup ended up in front at the end of the day. Jeremy Moore, Mark Dutton, David Couchy, the new team in charge at Red Bull Racing Australia, as Tim Slade was having such a good day, but then everything started to fall apart on him for the Super Cheap Auto Commodore. Michael Caruso and Nick Percack contact, and then Dale Wood in car 21 comes in as an innocent bystander down at turn 9. The Coates Hire Racing team of Percack trying to figure out what went wrong. Look at McLaughlin muscle his way past Todd Kelly, who returns the serve, but he got the position done. David Wall, that's a wild ride at turn 14 in car 17. And then Whincup and Lowndes kept going and going further away as Lowndes made a little mistake on the exit of turn 7. Check out Shane van Gisbergen on the final turn of the final lap, just lets it all hang loose as he starts the year with a podium finish. But Whincup starts the year pretty much how he ended it, as the #1 man